On March 4, 2025, a woman pulled into my bay holding her phone out toward me before she even opened the door. She had a screenshot of her car's manual, zoomed into a page she had clearly stared at for a while. She said she had owned the car for 6 years. She said she had never once used this feature. She had only discovered it because her neighbor's kid mentioned it by accident during a road trip conversation. The feature she was pointing to was built into every version of her car since 2017. It worked right now, today, without an app, without a subscription, without a software update. It could have saved her 3 separate repair visits, one of which cost her over $400. She looked at me and asked why nobody ever told her about it. That question is exactly why I made this video. Because her story is not unusual, it is nearly universal. Modern cars are packed with systems, features, and functions that most drivers never touch, never activate, and in most cases, never even know exist. Not because they are hidden behind expensive upgrades or locked inside dealer menus, but because the industry has no real incentive to explain them. Dealerships rush through delivery appointments, and most owners never open the manual past the first 10 pages. Today, I am going through the features that matter most. The ones that protect your engine, save your tires, extend your brakes, improve your safety, and in some cases, literally prevent accidents. These are not gimmicks. They are not marketing extras. They are legitimate engineering tools built into your car right now, waiting to be used. I have spent over 2 decades working on vehicles, and the most consistent thing I see is not mechanical failure. It is uninformed ownership. Drivers spending money on problems that existing features could have prevented. Drivers missing warning signs that built-in systems were already monitoring. Drivers replacing parts that a hidden reset function would have fixed in 4 minutes. The gap between what a modern car can do and what the average driver asks of it is enormous. And that gap costs real money every single year. What makes this frustrating is that the features I am about to describe are not optional add-ons. They are standard. They are already in your car. Some of them have been there for over a decade. The technology exists, the hardware exists, the software exists, and the only missing piece is the knowledge. That is what today is about. Because once you understand what your car is actually capable of, everything changes. You stop driving blind and start driving informed. And informed drivers consistently spend less, last longer, and stay safer than everyone else on the road. The first feature almost no driver uses correctly is tire pressure monitoring. And I do not mean simply glancing at the warning light when it turns on. That is reactive. That is already too late. Every car sold in the United States after 2008 and across Europe after 2014 is required by law to have a tire pressure monitoring system built in. What most drivers do not realize is that this system is logging pressure data continuously, not just triggering a light when things get critically low. The threshold for that light is usually 25% below the recommended pressure. By the time that light comes on, your tires have already been running soft for potentially weeks. Rolling resistance has increased. Fuel economy has dropped. Tire wear has accelerated on the shoulders. In some vehicles, especially those with indirect tire pressure monitoring systems, you can access real-time individual pressure readings through the instrument cluster or infotainment menu, not the warning light, the actual pounds per square inch numbers for each corner of the car. Most drivers have never navigated to that screen. If you check those numbers once a month instead of waiting for the light, you will catch slow leaks before they become flats, extend tire life significantly, and maintain fuel economy closer to the factory specification. The difference between properly inflated and slightly soft tires can account for up to 3% of fuel economy, which across a year of driving adds up to real money at the pump. The second feature most drivers ignore is the battery voltage monitor, and this one matters more than almost anything else I will mention today. I have discussed corrupted module memory before, and the root cause in the majority of those cases is a degraded battery. A battery that starts your car just fine in summer can be silently failing by November. The alternator compensates, the car starts, nothing feels wrong. But under the surface, the battery is no longer holding stable voltage during key-off periods. Modules lose data, memory corrupts, adaptations get written incorrectly. Many modern vehicles allow you to access live battery voltage through the infotainment system or a submenu in the driver information center. Some show it under the vehicle status page. Some show it inside an energy flow display. The number you want to see at rest, with the engine off and accessories off, is between 12.4 and 12.7 volts. Anything below 12.2 volts at rest is a weak battery that is quietly damaging your vehicle's electronics. Catching this before it causes module problems, corrupted transmission behavior, or random electrical faults is worth hundreds of dollars in avoided repairs. This screen exists. Most drivers have never seen it. The third feature is the throttle response mode selector, and this one genuinely changes how the car drives. Virtually every vehicle built in the last 15 years with a drive mode selector, including normal, eco, sport, and comfort settings, is adjusting throttle mapping, transmission shift logic, and sometimes steering weight in real time. What most drivers do not understand is that these are not just comfort preferences, they are fuel economy and wear optimization tools. Running a car in sport mode during city commuting does not make you faster in traffic. It makes the transmission hold lower gears longer, increases fuel consumption, and adds heat cycles to the transmission fluid. Running a car in eco mode on the highway, on the other hand, smooths throttle response and encourages earlier upshifts, which for highway cruising is exactly what you want. The engine stays in the most efficient part of its power band. The transmission hunts less. Fuel economy improves meaningfully. Most drivers leave their car in normal forever and never think about it again. But matching the drive mode to the actual driving condition is a real and legitimate fuel-saving technique that costs nothing. The fourth feature is one that could genuinely save lives, and most drivers either do not know it exists or have accidentally turned it off and never turned it back on. Every modern car with lane departure warning, lane keep assist, or lane centering technology allows you to configure the sensitivity, the warning type, and the engagement threshold. In most vehicles, these settings are inside a safety or driver assist submenu. Many drivers who found the warning annoying during a grocery run turned it off and forgot to turn it back on. Others never configured it past the factory default, which in many vehicles is intentionally set to a conservative threshold to reduce early complaints. Go into the system, set the warning sensitivity to high, enable the steering correction function, and make sure the feature activates at lower speeds rather than only at highway speeds. That simple configuration significantly increases the protective value of technology you have already paid for. Lane departure incidents are one of the leading causes of serious accidents. The hardware to prevent them is already in your car. Whether it is actually protecting you depends entirely on whether it is configured and active. The fifth feature is the service interval reset, and this one directly costs drivers money every single time it is ignored. Every modern vehicle has an oil life monitor or a service due indicator built into the instrument cluster. What most drivers do not realize is that this system is not just a countdown timer. In most vehicles made after 2010, it is an algorithm that factors in engine temperature cycles, cold starts, idle time, load, and driving patterns to calculate actual oil degradation in real time. The result is that on some vehicles, the interval extends well beyond the old 3,000-mile myth, sometimes to 7,500, 10,000, or even 15,000 miles depending on the oil type and the driving conditions. Understand that the oil life system is designed to measure real use and protect your engine. But here is the problem. When a shop changes your oil and does not properly reset the oil life monitor, the system still thinks the old oil is in there. It either triggers a warning prematurely or, worse, the driver resets it themselves to the wrong interval. Understanding how to read that monitor correctly and ensuring it is properly reset to 100% after every service means you are using the system the way it was engineered to be used. You are not changing oil too early and wasting money. You are not changing it too late and degrading protection. You are operating on actual data. The sixth feature is one that surprises almost every driver who discovers it. Most cars built after 2015 with a factory navigation system or a connected infotainment screen have a diagnostic or vehicle health report function buried inside the settings menu. This is different from the check engine light. This function actively monitors dozens of systems in real time, and in many vehicles will generate a health summary that flags items approaching service thresholds before they trigger a warning. It can report tire wear estimates, brake pad wear indicators, fluid condition alerts, and battery health flags. Some manufacturers push these reports to a connected app. Others require you to navigate to them manually inside the car, but they exist, and they exist specifically to give the owner early warning before a problem becomes expensive. Drivers who use this function catch issues while they are still minor. Drivers who do not use it wait for warning lights and then pay for emergency repairs instead of planned maintenance. The difference in average cost between those two types of service visits is not small. The seventh feature is one I want to spend more time on because it is misunderstood even by people who know about it. Every car with an automatic transmission and a manual shift mode, whether a traditional shifter gate, paddle shifters, or a sport mode button, has a legitimate engineering purpose beyond giving the driver something to play with. On long downhill grades, using engine braking through manual downshifting reduces brake temperature significantly. Brakes that overheat will fade, and faded brakes on a mountain descent are genuinely dangerous. Descending a long grade in drive while riding the brakes brings rotor temperatures up fast. Descending the same grade in a manually selected lower gear keeps the brakes cool and uses the engine as the primary retarder. This is not a sport driving technique. It is a safety technique. It is the reason the feature exists. Most drivers have never used it because nobody explained what it was actually for. In vehicles with continuously variable transmissions or modern 8-speed automatics, the manual mode is particularly effective because the transmission can hold a specific ratio precisely, giving consistent and predictable engine braking without hunting. The eighth feature is one that protects the thing most drivers worry about least until it fails: the cooling system. Many vehicles now include a transmission temperature gauge, an engine coolant temperature gauge beyond just the standard hot-cold indicator, and in some trucks and performance vehicles, a dedicated oil temperature readout. These are accessible through the Driver Information Center or through a custom gauge screen in the infotainment system. Most drivers never configure these displays. Most drivers do not know they can. Monitoring transmission temperature during towing, during mountain driving, or during stop-and-go traffic in summer gives you real information about whether your drivetrain is operating within safe limits. Transmission overheating is one of the leading causes of early automatic transmission failure. The temperature data exists inside your vehicle right now. Whether you are using it determines whether you catch a problem before it becomes a rebuild. The ninth feature is the one I save for last because it is the most immediately actionable, and the one that consistently generates the strongest reaction when drivers first learn about it. Nearly every modern vehicle with an advanced driver assistance package has a following distance or forward collision sensitivity adjustment. Most drivers do not know they can change it. They experience the automatic emergency braking system intervening, find it jarring or premature, and either start ignoring it or look for a way to disable the whole system. What they should be doing instead is adjusting the sensitivity. Setting it correctly means the system intervenes at the right moment, not too aggressively, not too late. It means the technology is actually calibrated to your driving style and your typical driving environment, rather than a factory default designed to minimize liability across all possible customers. A properly calibrated automatic emergency braking system is one of the most statistically significant safety improvements in automotive history. Studies from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety show that forward collision warning with autonomous braking reduces rear-end crashes by nearly 50% in real-world conditions. That system is in your car. Whether it is configured correctly is entirely up to you. This is the pattern that defines modern car ownership. The engineering is there, the hardware is there, the software is there, the protection and the savings and the safety margin are all already inside the vehicle you are driving right now. The only variable is whether you understand how to access them. Every one of the features I have described today is standard equipment. None of them require a dealer visit. None of them require a subscription. None of them require a new car. They require about 20 minutes of reading, a few minutes in a menu, and the decision to stop treating your car like a black box. You just point at the road. The drivers who use these features do not just save money. They catch problems early. They extend the life of their vehicles. They drive safer. They make decisions based on real data instead of hope and habit. And they almost never end up in my bay writing a check for something that a built-in system would have caught 6 months earlier. Modern cars reward informed owners. They always have. The information is in the menus, in the gauges, in the displays, and in the systems you have been driving past every single day. Now you know where to look. If this changed how you think about the car sitting in your driveway right now, hit like so more drivers find it. Subscribe if you want to keep learning what your vehicle is actually capable of, and drop in the comments which feature surprised you most, because I read every single one, and the answers you leave here help me know exactly what to cover next. The most expensive car feature is not the one you paid for and never used. It is the one that was always there, protecting nothing, because nobody took 5 minutes to turn it on.